I want to make money, but I also want to do what I love. But I also want to make money. I also want to have a life, but I also want to make my parents proud. Like all the same things.
Hi
Like
Anushka, welcome to my podcast.
we don't have to be hard and like stone hard with like मैं यही करता हूँ, मैं यही करूँगा और मैं end तक it's also trying things. If you try it once, it gives you the confidence to do it again. I just don't want to be in a place where I'm putting in so much effort into something and it's not even something I want to do or something I like.
I am comparing your work with my work, but they are comparing my singing skills with their singing skills. Like it's just like you don't even know. Game बिल्कुल उल्टा है दूसरी साइड पे. You're running your own race. They are doing something else.
सिर्फ ट्रस्ट लोग फर्स्ट हाफ भूल चुके हैं ट्रस्ट कुछ करना भी इसके बाद ट्रस्ट लाइक ट्रस्ट व्हेन यू हैव टू वेट फॉर द रिजल्ट ट्रस्ट फॉर द एक्शन लाइक it's a very gray area, nobody wants to speak about it, but there's always going to be people who might want to tell you not to do it because they're just so scared. What if you make it? Like what if this person gets it, you know? Like
Correct.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lemon Lessons, and this time we have Anushka Mehrotra joining us on the podcast. Now she brings a contagious spirit and enthusiasm that led to conversation covering a bit of everything. Anushka currently designs interactions at Frog following a stint at Samsung. She transitioned from industrial to interaction design, emphasizing the freedom to pivot careers whenever inspired. A true lover of writing, she shares wisdom on navigating personal choices, embracing life's nuances, and making the most of available resources. Join us for a relaxed podcast where we explore ideas that might seem unconventional at first glance but make perfect sense upon deeper reflection. I'm thrilled to guide you through this laid-back chat with Anushka and very excited for this podcast. Let's go!
Hi Anushka, welcome to my podcast. How have you been? Thank you so much for accepting the invite. How how has it been?
how has life been or how has
Anything you wanna tell me?
that's too open-ended but
Yes.
everything's been very haywire. I've just come to the city. I don't have a house, and in Bangalore not having a house is worse than much worse things. But I'm house hunting and also hopping houses. Been very new, but I'm having fun now.
Let's
Yeah.
move forward with it. Now basically I have been, I'm not even lying. The first day I met these few mutual of us, I just noticed you instantly. I think you were in the class when I first met. I don't think so. You might
Yeah, I
remember.
think you came in with
Yeah.
you and another friend of yours, Aishwarya. came in. Yeah,
Correct.
I remember the two.
And that is when I first saw you. And I think then the next time I saw you was when I came to Anushka Sundit, like to her to ask about UX and stuff. And you were
Wow, that was quite a day. All of your questions, you and like I think your friends had come. It's like this is just a replay. This is what we were thinking and asking, and yeah.
So how did you, like, what was that feeling? So obviously when you came into college you had a certain mindset, right? And then now when you were in that zone where you could see that एक और ऐसे लोग हैं जो वही questions पूछ रहे हैं, what was that feeling?
I think you see the whole chain of तुम्हारे बाद को आया तो तुम्हारे पहले भी कोई आया होगा, and you just suddenly there's a mix of so everybody can be special, but some things are unfortunately, even if you want to fight it, but some things are going to be common between just people. And so this is one of those. When you see confusion, you're like, okay, so it's normal. They're also going through it. I also went through it. Questions are also a little bit similar. 2 साल में कुछ ज़मीन आसमान का फ़र्क नहीं आता है. So I want to make money, but I also want to do what I love. But I also want to make money. I also want to have a life, but I also want to make my parents proud. Like all the same things. Like, so it hits you. You're like, okay, everyone's looking after the same thing, looking like for the same thing in different forms. So yeah, it's a feeling of like, ठीक है. So somebody would have had that feeling when they saw me also. So you relate to people older than you when you see someone younger relate to you.
So do you have the answers now to those questions? I mean, Yeah.
Mm, I'd say if a younger person asks me this, to be very, I have a younger sister. So if she asks me for something, any question where I can see she's quite seriously confused, and if she asks this to somebody who would not look out for her, might not give her what she's looking for, or might give her something worse. So I pretend like I know a little more, which is what I've seen, I think our parents do, because I don't think I would want to be a 5 year old knowing that my parents are also confused, and so are my grandparents. You need heroes. Like, if not heroes, you need to know that people know more than you, so you have something to look for also. So yeah, to answer your question, I would say yes to someone younger if I can help them out even a little. But if otherwise, no, I don't have the answers. But yeah, you have tidbits of them. You make what you can of them.
So, yeah, there is a huge audience which is younger in terms of where you are in life right now, and in terms of their experiences as well. So, would you like to answer that in whatever knowledge and capability you have right now?
So out of like which context are you
The
specifically?
context of when someone comes up to you, the first years that come up to you, and they're like, like, what should we do? How should we? What stream choose? Like, actually, the same question. If we want to make money, but we want to make our parents proud. We want to do this. We want to do that. What? How would you react to a situation like that?
Firstly, nothing is a life or death situation is what we need to really get it cleared, because people are like, ये हो गया, अब मैं वो नहीं कर सकता, मैं वो बन गया, तुम्हें ये नहीं. If I'm a CA, how can I be a singer? वो तो मतलब अब तो सोच ही नहीं सकते. It's not filmy. तुम नहीं मरे हो. You can do anything anytime. So giving that much weightage, parents will, because they're concerned, they want you to be happy. But I think all of this pressure makes it worse. Like, it's such an important decision, you kill yourself over it. Do what you like. If you don't like it, you'll figure it out still. Like, I'm not saying deliberately take that risk, but know that it's a risk worth taking, and there is coming back from it. Like, you won't be stuck anywhere. Like, this feeling of what if I do something I hate? Like, what if I get stuck? Like, you will not get stuck. Nobody can, like, not let you go from situation. So I would say, and pros and cons list, I'm a big journaler. I have a journal for everything. I make lists for everything. So a pro and con list really helps me, and it's a very honest list. Not all practical things. I would put heavily emotional, stupid things on it. Like, this would genuinely make me happy. This would maybe make me want to hit my head on a wall.
Yeah.
That's a valid point on your list. So you add all of that, and yeah, you see what works out, and don't take so much pressure. Do what you. And another trick which I think is really different is, I imagine that I've already done it. So let's say I can't pick between X and Y. I imagine that I've done X. How do I feel about it? And then you have to really like push yourself to actually believe it's true, and imagine you've done Y. You will feel a difference. Like, you will feel something that you would have felt probably after making that decision, before making it, if you visualize it a little bit clearer. So that gives me some clarity. And
Amazing.
so that's one way of. And ask people you, like, you came to that room. I have gone to rooms in my past, and it always helps, because they have some. But also, people seem to know a lot more, but people know things, but they're not going to be able to give you exactly what you're looking for unless you make it out for yourself. So that's there.
But I think sometimes most of the people, once you said, I entered that room. Now, the amount of confusion I had while entering that room, because I was like, oh my god, these are seniors. I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to be that junior who's the irritating person. But I ended up going inside, and honestly, after that instance and many other, I did end up hearing that she's like, girl who's always dhar ghumti rehti. It's fine, it's okay. But there is a possibility that wo narrative ban sakta hai, and also another possibility that you don't have the courage to feel like, am I even knowledgeable enough to have a conversation with these seniors? So how do you navigate that?
I think it's a very, very, very cliche way to say it, but just go for it. That's just one way. Because if you think about it, you can come up with 100 reasons why you should not do it. You want to do it, should be enough reason for you to do it. And again, this is something that I use, probably it works differently for others, but I have a 3-2-1 rule, which is not complex. When I say 3-2-1, I do it, whatever it is. It helps with procrastination also in situations like these. And if you don't know something, be honest about it. I don't think anybody who knows something and you respect or you look up to will ever belittle you for not knowing it and being honest about it. Yeah, if you bullshit your way through it and you act all smart and cocky, that might put people off. But if you genuinely go up to someone, and you can imagine yourself in that position, if someone who's in the 12th grade, let's say, comes up to you and asks you, like, what should I do? I'm a little confused. You're not gonna just be like, कि कितने बेकार है, कितना परेशान करी. No, because they're genuinely telling you something. If, like, worst case scenario, you're not interested, you don't have the time, you won't reply. But you won't start with, what an annoying person. But if they come up saying, मैंने ये किया है, वो किया, like, come up with a lot of humbleness and genuine, authentic questions, people will always have time. The worst case scenario will be they're busy,
Yeah.
but nobody will put you off. So also trying things, if you tried once, it gives you the confidence to do it again. So just go for the first time, and I think the next ones you'll have your own way.
Yeah. Now, after going in all sorts of directions we can,
Yes.
let's come to the design aspect, obviously. And yeah, I want to ask. So I know for a fact that you wanted to do. You were in product design, but I also know that you were very interested in interactions and how that works out. And I think, I mean, I don't know much, but all I ever heard from some people was that, you know, if you ever want to talk about proper product, talk to Anushka. She knows. She knows what product.
So when you
is.
say
She
product, do you mean digital or
actually, back then, tangible. It wasn't digital.
wow, who is this
Yeah,
person?
because that is when I entered college and ये बात हुआ था, and I actually came to your room also when I was talking to your roommate,
Yeah.
and then I saw like your table में कुछ बना हुआ था
Yeah.
product वगैरह, I don't know, but now then later on I got to know about this other interest that you have. So how was you navigating through this whole area? And also we as people know that product design is not हवा में ले लिया. It is a discipline where you need to put in hours and stuff. So how did that work out?
So I was having a conversation with your friend here from so he is also, so I have personally found a lot of people even in juniors and seniors who started off with tangible and then switched, some of them willingly, some of them market requirements, different reasons. But personally for me, I am, even right now as we speak, I am doing interaction and I love it. But if tomorrow I like something else, I'll probably do that. And so I'm not saying this because it's a, you know, it's a romantic idea to have. It's genuinely what also makes me happy. I want to have that kind of liberty, which fortunately, thankfully, I have, given the, not all people have that sort of backing also. Like all of us here, we thankfully do. But yeah, so in that setup, I was drawn to it. I really liked how products worked, and I had heard a lot of really inspirational and really, really interesting designers speak about how they could just come up with a story for a thing as simple as a glass. So I wanted to tell stories, and having a tangible one was something I was really excited about. But with time, I understood how all the nitty gritties of it, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe not completely my cup of tea. It's really great. And I also saw people who were passionate about exactly that. So I knew there was nothing uninteresting or unimportant about just exactly that. So I was like, okay, it's not that. The thing is great. It's me. So I tried a bunch of different things. I have interned with a marketing firm. I have done visual design. I've done copywriting, and like bunch of random things. Not very random. They're somewhere related. And then I tried out. Actually, I was not even expecting to get into the internship that I did. Get into. I had applied, and one night before that, I was like, they only gave us a night to prepare for the interview, to be precise. I asked a bunch of people that, and naturally, I was asked that, and that's when I realized it's just, we don't have to be such, like, we don't have to be hard and like stone hard with like मैं यही करता हूँ, मैं यही करूँगा और मैं end तक ये, it's okay. Like, you can be passionate about something. You can rust, like, with time you can be like, okay, maybe I like this more. That's the whole point of having a long, like, you're 3 years old, you like something else, you grow into something else. But yeah, there's this sense of, do I know enough about it? How does this work? And there's this imposter syndrome that kind of seeps in, especially like when I started my internship, knowing that for the first 2 weeks I was like, I have an opinion on this, but then again, I have not studied this well. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe, yeah. So, but then I was like, no. And I've had people who've come from animation backgrounds who've turned into UX designer. I've had a CA turn into a graphic designer. So, everything can be learned. Anything can be learned. So, no, you can definitely have more years of experience, more insights, more ideas about how things work, but you can always be a beginner and love that stage. A lot of people who are at the expertise level miss their beginner stage. You're open to like asking dumb shit and you're okay. Nobody's gonna judge you for it, and they're like, that was fun. And now if we don't do that in our beginner stage, then what's the whole point? So yeah, transitioning is not that big a deal. It's just a myth. It's you can do it. You just, if you really want to do it, you'll set a little bit of time aside, and you can always learn on the job. Like, definitely you can't go empty handed. You have to have some things that you know you can deliver, but you can learn. And your willingness to learn will always overpower probably talent also. Like, so if somebody comes to me, two kinds of people: somebody showing that absolute willingness and fire ki I want to do this. I don't know a thing about it. I know a little bit about it. I've read up about it. I've read some tacky articles about it. That's all I know. But I want to learn, and I will listen to everything you say. And you just want to teach them, because it's hard to find people who want to learn. So go for it. Just transition. Don't be in a place where you, this is not preachy again, like, I just don't want to be in a place where I'm putting in so much effort into something and it's not even something I want to do or something I like. That's very sad. Like, it makes the struggle harder. So if you're at least, and there's this assumption कि मेरी life उससे आसान हो जाएगी या इससे आसान हो जाएगी, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. There's going to be problems in everything. So you should rather pick something that's worth it. Otherwise you'll have to deal with the issues, but you'll also regret being there and you want to be somewhere else.
But also this question arises, who to ask
About
whatever, like, for example, right now you said ना that there are people out there who want to learn, but वो जो learn करना चाहते हैं, they are in the dilemma कि पूछूं किससे, because there are so many people out there कि भाई सबसे इससे बात करो, कि आप किसी से भी बात करोगे you will get to know something new for sure. 1% तो you will, but we become so selective sometimes, because I think, I mean, I'm not sure, but when I go and talk to someone, पहले ऐसा होता था, when I go, मैं किसी को choose करती थी, I'm going to talk to them, their ideas used to influence a little bit of my
definitely that's
working.
how it's gonna work.
And then मैं किसी और से पूछती थी, तो वो influenced mind होता था जो जाता था. And तो sometimes I used to feel it would have been so better अगर मैं starting में इससे पूछ लेती. तो what do you think, how it does?
So okay, again, I don't think I would take advice from someone whom I don't really want to be like in that aspect. So if I like something about you, I would ask you to, help me out with that part, because I like. Now, I won't ask you for something that I don't look up to you for. So firstly, going to people that you admire in that aspect, and also don't make anybody like your grand hero कि इसने बोल दिया तो यही सही है, because then you will get stuck in, like you said, you will get influenced by that first version. But there's no clear short way of knowing किससे पहले बात करनी है. But thankfully we do have internet, so you don't even need to worry so much about it, but be very so once you know कि ऐसा होता है, you do get influenced by things, go with an open mind. थोड़ा influence होने ही वाला है, whoever you speak with, and they could be the best thing in your life, or they could be your worst mistake. There's always going to be that chance. You're always running that risk. But yeah, you should know that you're going to get influenced, and with that awareness, I think you're influenced with awareness. I don't know if it makes sense, but I'm aware of what is influencing me as we speak. I know what you say, what is influencing me, what my brain's going through. So being aware while you get influenced is also slightly helpful.
Yeah.
And definitely I'd say go for opposite opinions. Go for like someone saying this is it, you should do this, and someone saying you're a crackhead, like don't do it. You see both people, and unfortunately it's never going to be unbiased even with them on their own. I could have wanted to do X, I never did it. So now you want to do it, you're asking me for it. There's a slight chance, being a human being, I might discourage you because somewhere I wanted it to, like, that sort of a thing. Like, it's a very gray area, nobody wants to speak about it, but there's always going to be people who might want to tell you not to do it because they're just so scared. What if you make it? Like, what if this person gets it? Like, what if they're actually happy? So they might influence you that way. So knowing people who only and only want good for you. Like, I won't ask for life advice unless it's, I really love all my close friends and everyone, but everyone's in a different state of mind at different times in time, being human. So going for those sort of people, and with educated people who don't have anything to lose also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But also once you have done not everything, but done substantial amount of things, and now it's time for who to show or who to tell,
Yeah.
right? And I've actually gotten the मेरे साथ ऐसा होता है कि मैं तो बिंदास ही बता देती थी ये हुआ वो हुआ whatever, but I've and now I've become a little conscious about it. But I think I've seen a lot of people, one of my friends only, actually not friends, one of the people I know, she got an internship, she worked there, but she's like, it's been a month or something, she's like, I'm not posting on LinkedIn. I was like, huh? Why? And then she's like, no, I don't want to. And then turns out, I don't know, I thought, I'm not sure, but it's more about how she doesn't want people to think that she's a threat, or she's a target, or she's out there doing something that they would want to do, I don't know, something like that. And that is when I realized this is such a big loop that's happening, because like, you're just showing out of pure innocence, ठीक है ये किया whatever. I am updating my LinkedIn because I want कि जब मेरा job लगे कहीं, they should know at least what all I've done. But then in that pathway you come across so many things, so you just lose track कि भाई दिखाऊं क्या, बताऊं क्या. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm with this guy maybe, and the relation is going perfect, but then suddenly you post something, and then next day fight. I don't know. It's like I've heard that from some people. So I was like, okay. So, and now also people are pretty conscious about, okay, I want to keep my life private, I want to be the mystery person, I don't want people to know I've done so much. So what do you think about that?
Not sure about the fight wala thing, but other than that, I think this is always going to be there, and it's also very real, and we're very young, like even us, we're very young. Whatever we've seen has been either in the space of mostly just career. We've not even had a family yet. We've not had this sense of ki, if we've seen, there's like aunties fighting about whose kid is doing mera beta ye kar raha hai, and they're flexing about that, and another auntie is getting pissed. So I actually spoke to my mom about this. I have a tendency of being competitive. I am inherently a little competitive, but I won't go out of my way to ever harm anybody. Like, not that. I would be, if I'm competitive, I'll be hard on myself. That's my competitiveness ka wo. So that's when I actually spoke to my mom. Like I said, I wanted someone who would be good listener also, but also looking out for me completely, no judgment. That's when she said, तुम लोग को अभी नहीं पता है, तुम बस कंपेयर करो कि इसका जॉब लग गया, धीरे धीरे you'll see there'll be so many things what your house looks like. अभी तुम्हें लग रहा है हाँ मेरे को फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा, it's just going to be a house, I'm not going to compare. When you get to that stage, you could tell a 13-year-old she'll be like हाँ मुझे जॉब से फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Now you're just like internship से लोग, आधे लोग are just like dismissing that person. They're just so annoyed being around them because just looking at them reminds them of their, किसने यहाँ का काम किया है यार. They're just threatened, and nobody wants to threaten someone. But it's very natural for us at this age to, I won't say it's a good thing, but it is bound to happen, unfortunately, and it is happening all across. So if keeping things private makes someone feel secure, they should do it. It's completely their state of life. They'll figure out what it means to even post, because abhi unke liye lag raha hai, like you said, you want your hirer to see it. When they get that kind of clarity, they'll go for it. But this comparison, it's essentially comparison only in all forms, which is going to seep in. When you have a kid, you're going to be comparing something else. Then you're going to have a life after that, promotions, and within corporate life or whatever you pursue. So first you need to just address comparison at its very core. It's not nice. It's self sabotaging. Like you could be doing the best thing, but you'll feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
So being someone who's done something like that, if telling only trusted people makes you feel happier at the moment, because everyone's very young to even gauge what they're feeling and why they're behaving like that, that's completely okay. If you have the, if you feel that's kind of shielding you, but if you want to go all out, you'll see who sticks through, and that's another part to take. But we can't expect people to be very different. You'll see older people behave like that. Age has nothing to do with this. Maybe it hits them, maybe it doesn't, but we can't expect an 85-year-old to be more enlightened in this manner, because unless you really actively address comparison, it does not leave you.
Yeah.
So
And I think comparison, I think with everyone is pretty subjective also. Like, I mean, when I look at something, I feel like, okay, this is the comparison I'm making, but वो person मेरी मतलब for example I am comparing your work with my work, but they are comparing my singing skills with their singing skills. Like it's just like you don't even know. गेम बिल्कुल उल्टा है दूसरी साइड पे. यू आर रनिंग योर ओन रेस, दे आर डूइंग समथिंग एल्स, एंड बोथ ऑफ देम आर अ लिटिल यू नो just not in a good environment to talk about कि ये है वो है, जबकि things are totally अलग ही direction में.
हाँ, and you're just like shit इसका काम. You have forgotten that you have singing skills. I have forgotten that I have the work. I'm just saying मुझे जो तुम्हें नहीं चाहिए, you have completely lost track of what you actually have. You can only think of things that you don't have, and even people that you're like इनको ऐसा लग ही नहीं सकता. Like look at them, they're just so, they also go through that. So again, I don't know how many people are even into journaling as a thing, but I think so before every day, like रात को, it's very cheesy, but I do it every day. सोने से पहले पहले मैंने सुना था like this is not gonna work, this is some priest telling me something, but is it on?
Yeah. He was just
Yeah. So I say thanks for one thing. पहले तो मुझे लगा so easy, एक ही चीज़ के लिए thank you बोलना है. Then you realize कि wow, you don't do this, you don't think about things you have. So जब मम्मी बोलती है you're like कितना परेशान कर रही हैं, क्या मतलब ये सब मुझे नहीं सिखाओ philosophy में, I'm good anyway. But having things that you, that's when you reflect on what you have, and the only way, the only antidote to comparison is just focusing on yourself. There is no other antidote. You can do whatever you want. You can, and the worst way to deal with it is to belittle the सामने वाला person. Like you said, singing skill, somebody, then I'll just be like, हाँ इसको गाना गाना आता है, but no, she's not this or she's not that. I have this, that is better. You're just feeding it more. You're just making it worse. So getting to a stage where you can actually be happy for someone else, massively secure. You're just secure with yourself. It's a very big deal. Having someone you're so close to who's done something or who has something you don't. You're fine with that. Half of your life is sorted already, because so yeah, that's how I would say.
सबका अपना अपना होता है जो करना.
Of course, this had to come up.
Why?
Yeah. सबका अपना अपना होता है. Yeah, I've had some friends ये ऐसे ही, they like everything is black and white to them. This person's ambitious, this person's not. This person's good. What do you mean ambitious? मतलब yeah, initially I was like shit यार इसको तो, she wants to maybe she wants to marry and not even work. Like छी, like तुम्हें financial independence, ठीक है, financial independence great. किसी का सपना ही अलग है, तुम क्या कंपेयर कर रहे हो, उसका एम्बिशन है ही अलग.
नैरेटिव भी बहुत डिफरेंट है उनकी.
नैरेटिव अलग है, दे वांट समथिंग डिफरेंट. एंड व्हाट इफ तुम अपने आप का एम्बिशन के साथ जा रहे हो एंड दिस अदर पर्सन इज जस्ट क्लियरली हैप्पियर. वेरी एग्जिस्टेंशियल थिंग टू से, तो सब मर जाएंगे एक दिन. सो they're just happier they won. I'm sorry, like they just won.
I mean it's not dark, you know, it's actually true. I think there is high, not अभी ठीक है, अभी तो 2021 है, ठीक है, whatever, but there is a time in life where I think people should understand that you have limited time, and वो जो limited time है, can you just make the most out of it? Do whatever you want to do. Why do you want to think कि यार अभी ये नहीं वो नहीं. तुम्हें लगता है you will get many chances at this one life thing. You won't. This is one go chance. Do whatever you want to do. And but yeah, and that is also, I think, everyone just thinks अपने आप ही कि okay, this is, and for everyone, like for me maybe life is just a roller coaster. I want every day to be different. But for some people, life is just monotonous. They like the monotonous feeling. They like it when it's in the schedule. They want to go with it. I can't just be like judge them and be like, yaar tum kya? You're not doing anything
Yeah.
with your life. They might be thinking you're doing too much with your
Yeah.
life.
Or they're just like, what is wrong with you? Like, so that's just very natural. Like, matlab, people are not gonna get. They're not supposed to be frank. And this is a very great point that you brought up, which is limited time. The biggest hoax is people think they're gonna live forever. Like, again, it's a cheesy thing to think about, but you genuinely have limited time, especially if you put it down. And a lot of these posts have it. You have only 40 summers left with your parents.
Yeah,
Like,
weeks.
it's a very
Yeah.
like
I've seen-
weeks and
there's a
months
TED
and years,
talk
and
just where
everybody's
he said you have this amount of weeks left in your life.
yeah, and that's when you're like, shit, मैं हमेशा के लिए नहीं जी रहा हूँ. Like, I can't, like, so I now they have a reason to not do. तुम दूसरे के लिए किए जाओ, you're just gonna. And also, I think there's this obsession with, I buy into it, making a mark. I want to be special. I want to do something big. I want to be somebody. Firstly, everybody wants to be somebody. Secondly, it's great, and you should completely pursue it. But for that, then you should know what you want also. Because now, if I'm like, मुझे कुछ करना है, but I'm not trying anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just constantly going to be unhappy with everything I'm doing because it's not reaching that random thing that I want with no plan, no track. If you really want that, and you don't want to buy into all these, all this happiness comes from within and तुम कमरे में बैठे रहो, you want shit. मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए, I want to do this. Great, you want it. Make a list. What do you want? Who do you need to reach out to? What do you want to do about it? What's your timeline? तुम्हें वो भी नहीं करना है, तुम्हें वो भी चाहिए. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes I'll be like, there are so many kids who come up and like, I wanted to do this, but my parents didn't allow me. I understand this. Some parents are like this, but did you fight? Did you put up the fight? Were you like, ये नहीं तो कुछ नहीं, करना है तो कर. And ऐसा नहीं कि बस हमें में बोल दिया ये नहीं तो कुछ नहीं. Show them work. Show them that I have done something, and please trust me. Give me a year. If I don't figure it out, I'll go with what you want, because I also understand parents are coming from a point where they also just want a secure future. But
of course.
but then again, this was something that like कि भाई ये नहीं कि सब छोड़ दिया, universe has it planned, everything happens for a reason.
Damn.
इसीलिए क्या वो कौन सा लाइन है, I am where I'm supposed to be. That doesn't mean just lie down in your couch.
Yeah, that's not what just means trust while you're at it. Like, doesn't mean तुम्हें सिर्फ trust. लोग first half भूल चुके हैं. Just trust.
Yeah.
like, कुछ करना भी उसके बाद trust. Like, trust when you have to wait for the result.
Yeah.
Don't trust for the action.
Yeah, correct.
But this parents wala, you covered the main bit, which I was also gonna point out. Ki show them something. If I tell you I like this, they could just be scared it's a phase. They've seen something, they want to do it. They think it's cool, they want to do it. Show them some dedication. Show them how much you love it, and show them something.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, words are great, but they don't speak for themselves. So yeah, show them something. It might take you an extra week. Put it in. Do it. If you want their support, some people are completely alright not having their parents on board and doing things. If that's your way to go for it. But if that's not what you want, you need that extra persuasion. Do anything. If you want something, go for anything. Go to the internet, type out best psychological ways to convince people. Do it. You have that, no?
Yeah.
बाकी सब चीज़ों में तो तुम बड़ा how to search कर रहे हो, लिखो. See how to convince people. It's not gonna give you manipulation tricks immediately. It will later. But it'll tell you, like, understand their perspective. See what they would like. सब use करो ना, तुम्हें चाहिए ना, so करो. So, but again, like you also said, सबके parents are a very, I think,
very sensitive
different area
to
which you
go
don't
over.
know enough about.
Yeah.
You will never. So, but
Yeah.
go to lens.
And I think you, again, through some people, I've heard this, that you are someone who persuades people to go out and make relations. Don't be scared of meeting people. Don't be scared of just, there are some people who are just like not ready कि भाई ये नहीं करना है, I'm very vulnerable, I don't want to do all this. And that is one thing that I heard, and I was like, damn, yeah. I would say I'm not like that, but I know a lot of people around me who are like that, and people like these should hear it from someone कि don't worry, it's okay, go out there, see it. अगर नहीं workout हुआ किसी के साथ भी कुछ भी, like even if it's friendship, even if it's a relationship, it's fine, but just give it a shot. What like,
yeah. So also we also feel काफ़ी when you're talking about these, मेरे भी दोस्त, I think I've also had this thought कभी कि बोलूँ क्या, नहीं बात करूँ क्या. If you see on a local bus, like there's so many people, other than willingness, हो सकता है like people just have a tendency of not talking to strangers, which is out of little bit of safety, little bit out of their in their own thing, doing their own thing, time नहीं है. बट या कभी कभी ट्राई करना चाहिए. वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स जिसको ये था, अगेन एक रैंडम टॉक आई हैड सीन, उसमें भी ऐसा था कि इट्स कॉल्ड व्हाट वाज इट कॉल्ड 100 days of rejection. So it's a 100-day challenge that this man took. वो कुछ नहीं, वो अपना ऑर्डर भी रिटर्न नहीं. दोस्त पीपल जिनको गलत ऑर्डर आ गया वो ये भी नहीं बोल सकती ये गलत है, दे जस्ट लाइक खा लेते हैं, बात नहीं करनी पड़ेगी, लेट्स जस्ट गेट इट डन विद.
correct
Like shit मुझे नहीं करना, and don't I don't want to deal with it, it's fine, I'm happy only. I'm like you're not. No, I'm happy only. So he was that sort of a guy. So 100 days of rejection is just every day you have to do one thing with one person, like ask for one thing, suggest one thing, one person you don't know, and you have to expect it's going to be a no. Just expect it's going to be a no. This man has pointed out कि ये menu card could be designed better to a random guy, and he's like हाँ तुम सही बोल रहे हो, the owner of a restaurant, and he's later on had a call with him and gotten his friend on board with that project, and they've redesigned the menu only because he could tell that guy. So a lot of times it just takes that moment of 3 2 1 go. So yeah, and do not think of worst case scenarios. That's the worst thing to do. Like people are like क्या ही हो जाएगा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. Do not ask people that. बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. Anything can happen. If you ask me ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस रूम में क्या हो जाएगा, I don't know, it could be engulfed. Like it's not a best. Like people think बहुत motivational है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या हो जाएगा देख. No, people who are not talking are the ones thinking about ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या हो जाएगा. So yeah, the best way is like सोचना तो है ही नहीं, सोचो मत, सिर्फ करो. So yeah.
And then जितना ज़्यादा सोचता है ना उतना ज़्यादा like sometimes like इतना content है ही नहीं सोचने को. Why are you just like so I used to be such an overthinker. I'm like कि कुछ है ही नहीं. Why am I going inside that spiral? I don't understand. But yeah, the moment I came out of it, it's just my mind is so much free from all those things. I can feel the difference. But yeah, I hope बाकी लोगों को भी ऐसा हो maybe. But yeah, now we are heading towards the end of the podcast, and to end it with, firstly I want to ask you this whole, like I'm not even pinpointing a niche, anywhere in this whole conversation, did you come across any experience where you were like I made a few blunders which taught me something, and you would want to list those blunders out, like
within this conversation as in general or right now?
in general in your life.
Oh my god, are we talking about blunders?
Like no,
I think we need the
कि
camera
no grammatical errors you're talking about. Just in general that you think you know ये नहीं ये करा तो ऐसा हो गया, so maybe this like
Also to back it up, I would say most blunders like had to happen for them to happen.
Yeah.
So I would not go back in time and change it. But if I had to think of something, yeah, I've pointed it out enough because it's really important. And again, I would say competitiveness, but not in the way that it favors me. So being, yeah, and a little bit related to even judgment. I had a tendency of judging people who are different as in मुझे लगता है ये बेस्ट और इसको नहीं लग रहा, then I mean something has to be off with why they're thinking this way. But धीरे धीरे you will come across, खुद ही हो जाएगा naturally. You don't even have to put in effort. You're just gonna be hit by life in your face and everything's gonna be proved wrong. And then you'll figure it out again, and then it'll be proved wrong again, and that's the fun. Like you said, roller coaster. Learn to enjoy the ride. थोड़ा सा बुरा लगने वाला है बीच में, but it's the whole point. So yeah, I would say comparison, which I think a lot of us all the time do because we have easy access to everything. So ठीक है, सबका देखो but अपना करो. So yeah.
So yeah, the question of the season. So what's the yellow in you? What do you think makes you different? What do you think stands? What do you stand out?
So when you say yellow, I was looking at something attitude.
You know, anything, honestly. It can be. So when I ask someone what their yellow is, they say I'm boring. And she's like, because that is that gives me the ability, that gives me the understanding कि जो लोग मेरे आसपास है, they're actually there for me.
Aww.
Because
Such a cute yellow.
Yeah, so I was like, bro. And I always give this example. Yellow doesn't mean you have to be out of the world or different. Something that makes you think that you are different.
I think I will entertain all crazy ideas. That is for sure. Like if somebody comes up to me, no matter what they do, where they come from, if they're like, मुझे ये करना है, मुझे ये बनना है, मुझे वो करना है, I don't think I will be the person who's like, sense नहीं बन रहा है bro, practical नहीं है. Like I'll be like, okay, तेरे को करना है, बता कितना करना है तेरे को, ऐसे कर सकते हैं, वैसे कर सकते हैं. Even so, I do that with me. जैसे मुझे, I tried something different last week. Like I enjoy my job a lot, thankfully, and lucky to be passionate. But मुझे कुछ और करने का मन होता है, so I'm not like shit, मैं तो यही करती हूँ वो ही. So yeah, if you're close or not close to me, I will entertain all crazy ideas and everything is possible. Like you want to do it, we'll figure a way. We'll figure it out because you want to do it. So yeah, like there's a lot of hope and also a lot of belief. So I will always kind of, sometimes it might not work, but I'll always either encourage you to or help you try. So yeah, it's always on the list.
Yes. Crazy. Amazing. So with that, I think so we are ending the podcast. It's done and dusted. No, not dusted. It's done and about
Not
to
dusted.
go off maybe. But yeah, it's a wrap.